It was just past 8 a.m. when Carl sat down in my office, same chair he always used, same look in his eyes. He was a former welder, built things with his hands for 40 years. Arms like tree trunks once. Now, they just rested in his lap like old tools. He didn't talk right away, just sat there quiet, until he said, "Doc, I feel like I'm fading. Not dying, just slipping." He wasn't talking about death. He was talking about something slower. The kind of emptiness that sneaks up on a man, waking up tired, pushing through the day with no spark. The bedroom growing quieter, colder, not because the love is gone, but because the body stopped showing up. Maybe you know what that feels like. They told you, it's just age, that this is how it goes after 60. Less strength, less fire, less connection. But what if that story was wrong? And what if that lie has stolen years from men like you? Years of confidence, closeness, and vitality without ever being questioned. I'm Dr. Thomas Leighton. I spent over 4 decades listening to men in that quiet moment after the tests, after the pretending. Retired now, but not finished. Because too many of you were never told the truth. You were handed prescriptions, or silence, but never real understanding. Never hope without shame. So let me say it plain. If you've been waking up frustrated, if intimacy feels harder, or your energy fades before the day is half done, it's not about wanting less. It's about blood flow. That's the word almost no one says, but it's the one that matters most. Because blood is what carries life to every corner of you, your heart, your brain, and yes, the most personal places too. And the good news? Your body still remembers how to flow, even at 60, even at 70, even if it's been a long time. There's a simple, natural way to help it remember. No pills, no shame, no side effect. Just one small drink before bed for 7 nights. It sounds almost too easy, but sometimes healing doesn't start with doing more. It starts with doing what's right. If this message speaks to something in you, type the number 1 below. If not, type 0, and I thank you for listening either way. Now let's talk about what's really going on inside your body. Not in some textbook way, but in the quiet, honest way you'd talk to an old friend. Because you deserve to hear the truth clearly and without judgment. When a man crosses 60, something begins to shift beneath the surface. Blood vessels, especially the small ones, the ones that matter most, begin to stiffen. They lose their ease, like a hose that's been left out in the cold too long. That soft, responsive flow becomes slower, more stubborn. Not all at once. It starts with little things. Maybe it takes longer to feel desire. Maybe sleep doesn't refresh you the way it used to. Maybe, after intimacy, you feel more drained than satisfied. And because no one ever taught you what to expect, you blame yourself. You wonder, is it me? Am I broken? But you are not broken. You are living in a body that's simply calling out for help quietly. What it needs is circulation. What it craves is flow. Not medication, not drastic change. Just a return to the rhythms your body knew decades ago. And I've found after thousands of conversations, tests, and quiet victories that most men don't need another prescription. They need a little help reopening the pathways life tried to close. That's where this drink comes in. It doesn't cure you, but it gently reminds your body of how to respond again. And it works with the most natural element of all, your own blood. If you're still with me, still listening, that means something. Type a 1 in the comments so I know I'm not just speaking into the dark. Because this message isn't for everyone. It's for the man who's ready to remember himself. Now let me tell you about Robert. He was 68. Saturday across from me one morning and said, "Doc, I feel invisible in my own marriage." Not angry, not blaming, just tired. Tired of trying things that didn't work. Tired of the quiet distance that had formed between him and his wife. If I could just feel normal again, he said, I'd do anything. But I didn't ask him to do everything. Just one thing, a simple nighttime drink. Made of 3 ingredients, nothing exotic, nothing fancy, just what the body understands. And after 1 week, he didn't just feel better. He looked lighter, taller. He walked in with his shoulders back and said, "I feel like myself again." What changed? Not his marriage, not his routine, just his circulation. This drink helped signal his blood vessels to relax, to expand, to let the blood do what it was always meant to do. And when that happens, everything changes. Warmth returns to the hands. Mornings feel less heavy. The body begins to respond again, not with force, but with ease. It's not magic. It's biology. And you don't have to wait for it anymore. In just a moment, I'll tell you what's in the drink. But first, if you're finding this helpful, or even if it's just starting to stir something inside you, consider hitting subscribe. That way, these quiet truths won't get lost in the noise, and you won't miss what's coming next. Because next, I'll show you exactly what's in this drink, and why it works the way it does. Let's keep going. The drink I'm about to share with you isn't new. Not really. In fact, I believe it's something your grandfather might have understood, before all the pills and promises filled the shelves. It's simple, gentle, and when used with care, it can help your body do what it was designed to do all along. Here's what's in it. First, beetroot powder. It's not just a root vegetable your mother used to boil. It's a powerhouse of something called natural nitrates. Now, don't let the word scare you. These are good nitrates, the kind your body turns into nitric oxide. That's the key. Nitric oxide is what tells your blood vessels to relax, to open. Think of it like removing the kinks from a garden hose. Once that tension releases, the flow returns. Second, lemon juice. Fresh, not the bottled kind. Half a lemon, squeezed in. Why lemon? Because it reduces inflammation, clears the gunk from your vessels, and helps your body absorb the beetroot even better. Plus, it gives the drink a brightness, a spark. Third, and here's the one that surprises most men, a pinch of cayenne pepper. Just a pinch. Enough to feel a gentle warmth in your throat as it goes down. Cayenne contains a natural compound called capsaicin. It's been shown to stimulate circulation, especially in the small vessels. Not with a bang, but a whisper. It reminds your system where the blood needs to go. And for a man over 60, that's often exactly where it hasn't been going. Now, put those three ingredients together, beetroot powder, lemon juice, and cayenne, and you have something that's more than a drink. It's a ritual, a small nightly act that says, I still care about this body. I still want to feel alive. Let me walk you through how to make it. Because if you're going to do this, I want you to do it right and feel the difference. Start with a small glass of warm water. Not hot, not cold. About 6 to 8 ounces enough to dissolve everything, but not so much it feels like a chore. Add 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder. Make sure it's pure, no sugar, no fillers, organic if possible. Then, squeeze in the juice from half a lemon. Stir gently. Last, a small pinch of cayenne. Not so much that it burns, just enough to remind you it's there. Now stir again, take a seat, and sip it slowly. Let it move through you. Feel the warmth, and give your body time to receive what it's been quietly needing. Do this every night, for 7 nights, right before bed, just like brushing your teeth. Only this time, it's not about your smile, it's about your circulation. And you may be surprised what happens. But, and this part matters, if you're going to do this, even just for a week, you also need to avoid the things that quietly work against it. Think of it like patching a leak while someone else is drilling holes in the pipe. So here's what to stay away from, at least during these 7 days. I hope longer, but let's start there. First, processed meats. I know they're easy, tasty, but things like bacon, deli slices, and sausages are loaded with sodium and preservatives that stiffen your arteries. You're trying to open things up. Don't fight against yourself. Second, refined sugar, especially at night. Sugar doesn't just spike your blood, it inflames your vessels. It makes nitric oxide harder to produce. That means less flow and more frustration. Third, alcohol before bed, even just a drink or two. I'm not here to take away your glass of wine forever, but for these 7 nights, let your system rest. Alcohol might make you feel drowsy, but it actually blocks deep sleep and blood flow at the same time. Instead, try leafy greens. a drizzle of olive oil, plenty of clean water, and rest. That's what your body needs to respond. Because when your system is clean, this drink doesn't just work, it begins to awaken something. And for many men, it happens faster than they expect. I've had patients tell me they noticed small shifts after the first night. Not fireworks, but subtle signs. Warm hands, a sense of peace before bed, deeper sleep. By the third or fourth night, some report something else. A quiet return of firmness in the morning. Not forced, not imagined. Just a signal from the body. I remember how to show up. And by the seventh night, that's when I often see the eyes change. The walk straightens. The voice has more certainty. It's not just about intimacy. It's about feeling present again. Strong again. Connected not just to your partner, but to yourself. And while those changes are real, there's something even more important I need to share with you next. Because there's one mistake I see over and over. Men who were just about to reclaim something powerful, and then stopped. If you want this shift to last, if you want to hold on to what's coming back to life, you need to hear what I'll tell you next. Let's finish this together. The biggest mistake I've seen men make, and I say this gently, is giving up too soon. They try something good, something new, and when they don't see fireworks in a day or two, they stop. They walk away just when their body is starting to listen again. And I understand that impulse. You've spent your whole life fixing problems. You turn a wrench, the engine runs. You tighten a bolt, the leak stops. Cause and effect. Straightforward. But your body doesn't work like that. Especially not after 60. It's slower. Wiser. Maybe. But also more cautious. Because it's been carrying more than anyone can see. The stress. The years of missed sleep. The quiet weight of being the strong one for everyone else. So when you finally give it something nourishing, something true, it doesn't always leap to respond. It waits. It watches. It needs to feel safe before it starts to bloom again. That's what this nightly drink is about. Not forcing change, not chasing perfection, but creating space for your body to heal. I tell men all the time, stay with it. Just 7 nights. Let your body remember. Because when you give it that time, even a week, you may begin to notice things you hadn't felt in years. Night 1, you might sleep a little deeper, wake up a little less groggy. Your hands might feel warm in the morning instead of stiff and cold. By night 2 or 3, the mind gets quieter before sleep. The tossing fades. You wake up with just a bit more steadiness in your step. By night 4 or 5 men tell me, "Doc, I felt a firmness this morning. It wasn't forced. It just happened." And then something even more important returns. Hope. Not the desperate kind, but the quiet, steady kind. The kind that whispers, "I'm still in here." By night 6 or 7 things shift emotionally. You might feel more open to touch, more curious. Even your partner may notice a change in how you look at her. And it's not just the drink. It's what it represents. It's the first time in a long time you've stopped trying to solve everything with stress and started offering your body care instead. That drink beetroot, lemon, cayenne, in warm water, it's not just a circulatory support. It's a signal. It tells your system, you matter again. Now, here's the part I need to say clearly. And I say this not as a doctor, but as someone who's walked with thousands of men. The men who get the biggest changes are rarely the ones who do everything perfectly. They're the ones who don't give up when it feels like nothing is happening. Because sometimes the shift doesn't arrive like lightning. It comes more like a tide slow, rising. Sure, you don't notice it all at once. But one morning, you get up and realize you feel lighter. Not because your weight changed, but because the burden lifted. That's what we're really after here. Not just better blood flow, but a return to self, to closeness, to pride, to the kind of man who walks into a room and doesn't feel like a ghost of who he used to be. I had a man once, Thomas, 71, who said, "For the first time in years, I didn't feel embarrassed in my own skin." That's the power of restoration. That's the quiet reward waiting at the end of these 7 nights. But you have to stay the course. And after those 7 nights, don't stop. Keep the drink if it helps, even 3 or 4 nights a week. But more importantly, keep listening to your body. It's speaking to you again now. Don't drown it out with the old habits. The sugars, the processed meats, the alcohol at night that you thought helped you sleep but really numbed you into stillness. Your body doesn't need to be numbed. It needs to be noticed. Let food become fuel again. Let rest feel earned, not escaped. Let movement return not as punishment, but as a way of saying, I'm here, and I still want to live. And when doubt creeps in, and it will, remember that the change is already happening, because you chose to show up. You didn't click away. You didn't shrug it off. You stayed through this whole message. That alone makes you different from most. And I want you to know, I see that. Now let's bring it all together in one last reflection. We talked about why blood flow weakens with age, not because you failed, but because your vessels have stiffened and your body needs support to soften them again. We talked about the simple drink, beetroot for natural nitric oxide, lemon for vessel health and clarity, cayenne for warmth and circulation. We talked about what to avoid, processed meats, refined sugars, alcohol before bed. We walked through the 7 nights, how each one can gently open your body back up to life, to presence, to energy, to intimacy. And we talked about the number one mistake most men make, giving up just before their body has the chance to say, thank you, you've come this far. And I want you to leave this video with one final message. You are not past your prime. You are not invisible. You are not too late. You are a man with history and a future. You still deserve energy. You still deserve desire. You still deserve to be touched not just by another's hand, but by your own sense of pride. So tonight, I hope you'll take a small step. Make the drink. Sip it slowly. And with each swallow, say to yourself, I'm not done, and you're not. If this message helped you even a little, leave a comment below and just type, I'm starting tonight. If you know someone who needs to hear this, send it privately. You never know the weight you might lift with one quiet gesture. And if you want more messages like this made just for men like you, subscribe. You're not alone anymore. Thank you for letting me speak to you today. I'm Dr. Thomas Leighton, and I'll be here anytime you need me. If this message touched you, perhaps share it quietly, as it was shared with you.